Yes. What's up? Let's do this thing. Got a laundry list of stuff to get through. Gotta get everything cleaned. I had oiled it all down with just some 10W30 so it didn't rust. So I gotta get it all cleaned up. Not that there's anything wrong with 10W30, but it's been in the machine shop, so I need to take and get it wiped down with coffee filters because coffee filters are lint free. You know, your average coffee drinker wouldn't want lint in their coffee. Anyway, so I just need to get it wiped down with coffee filters and some ATF because ATF's detergent. What I've read is the best way to go about prepping a block for assembly after it's been at the machine shop. You want to get all the stuff out of the metal, just off the metal. In the cylinders, they got that cross hatching. There's going to be fine grit in there from the honing. So that's what I'm doing. I'm just going to wipe this all down. Of course, it doesn't, in the block and the bed plate, it really doesn't matter as much because you got bearings in there, but still, you don't want that stuff. You don't want all that fine grit coming loose in the oil and going through the oiling system and through the engine. So I got to do all that. I got to go get my my gram scale, and weigh my pistons and weigh my rods. I think these all have measurements already written on them. But I'm going to double check them, and I'm going to pair the heavies with the lights and so forth. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's 358 grams. Certainly not 358 ounces, right? So got to go through and measure all that. You pair the heavy piston with the light rod and vice versa, and you just try to balance it. I'm not made of money. I'm not going to have this balanced as an assembly. So you just try to balance out as best you can. Since, with four bangers, you got the 1 and 4 and 2 and 3. You like that? You like that graphic representation? 1 and 4 and 2 and 3 are connected on the crankshaft, so they go up and down at the same time. So you want to try and balance that out so you don't have weird harmonics and weird weight stuff going on at 9,000 RPM, where one half your engine's real heavy and the other's real light, so on and so forth. So I'm not going to get anything crazy like grinding out material. If stuff's close, then I'm fine. And I'll evaluate it as I go through, to see like what % difference there is. If it's a negligible amount of difference, then I'm fine with it. If I do have to take and get handsy on it and take some material off something because there's a big difference, then we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Have never had to do that though. I also have to press my balance shaft bearings. I have to knock my balance shaft bearings back out, rotate them, and put them back in. My machinist very nicely put some new balance shaft bearings back in the block for me, but I'm not running a balance shaft. I already had purchased balance shaft bearings, so I really didn't need him to do that, but such as it is. And I'm going to make sure he got the oil passages lined up now, because if he didn't get the oil passages lined up, which I'm sure he did, because he knows what he's doing. Interesting. So I'll admit I'm not sure where the oil passage is supposed to be on this 7-bolt. I guess I could get in here with a pick. So on this would be this is the rear balance shaft here, because this is the timing side of the engine. So on the rear balance shaft, it's up in here. Unfortunately, the bad camera angle. Can rotate it a little bit here. Here we go. Now you can see it. Here's the rear balance shaft here. The oil passage is facing like up right now. It's facing towards the oil pan, and I'm not sure where that's supposed to be on a 7-bolt, or actually I don't even remember where it's supposed to be on a 6-bolt. So let me go get a pick so I can feel in there. Video good, sound good, everything good. Let me know. Interesting. So I don't think he installed this bearing correctly. So I'm feeling in the circle in the bearing. Let me see if I can. Here, let me get the other set of balance shaft bearings here. Whoa. Gonna take out the laptop. Okay, so this is a set of ACL balance shaft bearings that I had picked up when I thought I was going to be retaining the balance shaft and changed my mind. So there's a hole that is supposed to face the oil passage, and it's oiled through the block. It's not oiled through the balance shaft. So that hole needs to face the oil passage in the block. And what I'm doing is I'm sticking the pick up in here like this. Try to get this to focus. I'm sticking the pick up in here, and I'm trying to feel if I can feel it like sink into an oil passage. And it doesn't feel like it is. It feels like it's hitting resistance immediately, like it's a solid wall on this side. So I'm gonna go get a mirror, because I've got the little flexi mirrors. I'm gonna go get a mirror, see if I can get an angle on this to look in there, and might have lucked out. Kevin might have actually done me a favor. What shaft lubes internally? Well, like some connecting rods lubricate the wrist pins through the connecting rod. Like, it just depends. Like I can't quote to you like anything I've seen. Push rods are hollow because they oil the lifter through the push rod. So or maybe it goes up through the push rod up to the rocker, but there are things that oil internally. So you're right, though. These balance shafts don't oil internally. This dude may be a little bit too big. Nope, 100% confirmed. I can, one of the balance shafts lubricates. Okay, right on, right on. Were you making a joke there? So it turns out my machinist actually did me a favor. This balance shaft bearing's in here, right? So I can move on to this one down in here. Let's try to get my finger down here. You can't really see. Lighting's not so good. This one will be the interesting one. All right, so the hole on this one is facing the web. And I'm almost certain that the oil passage isn't in the web. But now that I found it, I can give her a feel, feel her up. I'm not so certain on this one. I need a smaller mirror than what I got here. Let me see if I got a round one. Well, crap, I don't think I do. So what's interesting is on this front one right here, this one right on the timing assembly, this one is facing the right way. The hole faces straight over here at this other oil passage. So that one for sure needs to come out. And I can see that the oil galley. So this right here, this is an oil galley. This goes all the way through the block, and there's a plug at the other end. So this is a hollow tube the whole way through. So I wonder if I shine light into this, if I can see light out over here. And using that same logic, let's see if we can determine where. Oh no, like you said, if this one has to oil internally, there's no oil passages over here. So the rear balance shaft obviously oils internally, right? That rear one probably doesn't matter how the bearing goes in. This front one though. Yeah, I'm not convinced. My picky do's not long enough to reach in there. I can't get back to it. I have an idea though. This is a piece of aluminum weld wire. This will be good. I can snake this in there and have a feel at her. Yeah, so the hole on this one is for sure facing the it's in the oil galley. So Kevin actually did know what he was doing. Kevin did it right. My machinist did it right. Good dude. Okay. So I just got to knock these out, rotate them, push them back in. My weapon of choice for that is always a socket that's just big enough to push the bearing out. I don't remember what size that is though. The 1 1/4 fit inside. 30 mil fits inside. Try 33. Yep, 33 should do it. All right, that dude's out. I gotta get something to attach to this to feed it in there. There we go. I'm just gonna put the big end. This is a really nice. Well, it's a Black Hawk. I thought this was a Snap-on. I stole this from my dad years ago and proceeded to use it as a punch. So now it's a punch. This end's all mushed out. This end's wrecked up. So, you know, use what you got. This socket's real nice, though. It's got a nice shoulder on it. You know what, though? I don't think it's going to work for this back one. I think this back one is smaller. That would make sense, right? Since you got to feed it, through here to get back in there. Let's investigate. Yeah, I need something smaller to get this back one. Stand by. Try this 30 millimeter once. No, 30 millimeters too small. Let's try the 1.25 inches then. Inch and a quarter seems okay. It just doesn't have a shoulder on it to locate it really good for me. So I'm kind of fighting this goofed up end here. Let's see what else I got. Here's another repurposed broken tool. This was a Craftsman 1/2 inch breaker bar that you always break off the stupid drive end. I went through I don't know how many of these before I gave up and got a 3/4 freaking just a cheap 3/4 Harbor Freight breaker bar and have yet, no matter how many pipes I put on it, have yet to break the thing. So this is now just a pry bar. In this case, it's going to be a punch. No, oops, I don't need this. I didn't need that. Go this way. Swing and a miss. Having the right tools for this will be nice, wouldn't it? And there's just no good way to go about this. All right. New method. I just found a 32 millimeter that's got a shoulder. So, oh, it's got a shoulder, and this is a 3/4 drive. Check this out. Here we go. There we go. This may be the trick. This is a ticket, as it were. Ah, it doesn't stick out. I just needed 3 more inches. Daddy. I think the 32 is too big. 32 is too big. Ugh. All right. Here's the 30 with a shoulder. Here we go. That was it. That's what worked. Uh-oh. Now I'm stuck in there. Look at that. Look at that mashup of a mess of tools. That's how you get it done. Improvise, overcome, win. Yeah, this the outside bearing here is totally bigger than the inside bearing, which makes sense because you would have to press the bearing across this and then through and in. So it's much easier if it's bigger. You can just take the smaller bearing and shove it through, and then you go. So now, give this a wipe out. I like the way that they put nice little chamfered edges on these to help get them in, like get them started. Definitely makes me happy. So I'm just going to rotate this to where the oiling hole is opposite the oil galley. In we go. This is plenty lubricated. Should be able to get in there just fine. All right, in there. No, started. The shoulders is on. Got my fancy tool here. For this, I'm actually going to use that 32. It's a 32 shoulder. It's going to help press that in without flaring out the outside of the bearing. And let's see if I can rotate this and get a shot of this. What's going on here? Right. So right here, that's the bearing. Right here is the socket I'm using to drive it in. So just driving it in. So with this, we're actually just using these bearings as a plug to plug up the oil galley. So I'm not putting balance shafts back in there. All right. That one is in. Let's have at this front guy. This one we could probably get started with some tap taps. Tap, 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 tap it in there. This one I'm going to make sure the bearing is just a little sub flush on this timing face, which we're not there yet. I'm going to go get a slightly bigger. What's this, 32? That's a 33. No, I need a slightly bigger. It's flaring it a little bit. Here we go, 34. That's nice. These actually behave. Since these are collared and chamfered, these behave just like the actual drive tools that you can buy. This is actually pretty nice. This is a cheap Harbor Freight 3/4 socket set, 12-point socket set. Right on. Okay, let me get cleaned up from here. I got a bunch of unnecessary tools sitting out. Let me get all these put away. We'll get on with the next procedure. All right. Okay, balance shaft deleting the block is complete-ish. Haven't really finished up wiping anything down. So let's go do that. Let's do that now. Let's do this. Let's rotate like that. And then we can look at the back of my head. Okay, let's get in there. Good old ATF. Hey, I'm working on my 4G stuff today too. Sweet. What are you doing? What are you working on? Hope you're doing cool stuff. Stuff you doing, Joe? About to grab a battery and then put the interior stuff back together and then fans, whatever I had time for after that. Right on, man. What car? Talon? Eagle Talon? There's a little bit of an inside joke. Hey, Monday. 1992 Eagle Talon slowpoke car. And I don't think that's the car's fault. Do you? Car's just a machine, Joe. It does as it's built to do and as it's told to do. %100% air. I had already gone through these bores prior to oiling the thing and putting it up, so they're not going to come out as dirty as they do when they're fresh from the machine shop. Plus, the machinist will run it through his hot tank, of course. So I'm kind of curious what Kevin uses the hot tank, because it like blued the block. Like this whole surface is like black, and it wasn't black. So, no. Not sure why driver disappeared. What kind of driver? Just dribbled all over my floor. Good job, Sean. Okay. Anyway. Yeah, that's pretty good and clean. I mean, that's assembly ready. My opinions. We were racing yesterday at Edgewater. The word driver disappeared from my comment and just said 100% air. Instead of 100% driver air. I mean, it's very apt because driver error, driver disappeared. You know, if you're in the car but you're not doing a good job of it, can you call yourself a driver? Anyway, we were at Edgewater yesterday racing James's Mustang for UMTR, United Manual Transmissions Racers Association. So manuals only. You're allowed to run Lenkos, which is weird. But evidently you're not allowed to have sequentials. You're not allowed to have air shifters. Like there's all kinds of rules. To where basically it has to be the human. The human has to be manipulating the gear change. And you have like you can run clutchless like a G-force or a dog engagement where you just lift up the throttle and rip it. But you have to, the car has to be launched on a clutch. So anyway, and we're running a SN97 Mustang, and they're buddies with all the other Mustang guys down there, and they're telling me about this guy that's got another, it's a Coyote, I think it's a first-gen Coyote, and he had just rebuilt it, and he was breaking it in, doing nitrous passes, and the thing started to smoke real bad. And I was kind of like aboard, you know, like, why? I mean, I get it, like put it together and send it, but it just seems awful easy to me to go and put on a few miles, do an oil change, go put on a few more miles, do an oil change, cut the oil filter open, you know, and then go start making nitrous hits if you want. I couldn't believe. And evidently they put new valve stem seals in it and it stopped smoking. So I don't know. If you got a fresh build and the rings aren't happy and you're freaking doing nitrous hits, like, and the dude sprays from like a mid 11 down to a bottom 10. So over a second improvement on ET off the spray, like that's not a small amount of spray, you know. That's hitting that poor thing hard, kicking it in the pants. That just, I don't know. I guess some people just have different objectives. I must have got cheap coffee filters. These things are still, they're still giving me a bunch of freaking like little pieces of fiber, which I don't think would be a problem, but I'm also not going to mess with it. So I'm just going to have to take and air hose this thing off before I start jamming pistons and holes. I still got to set ring gap and all that stuff too. I got to do a little bit of research real quick on the ring gap too. Like if you look at what Wiseco says to do, most of the 4G guys consider what Wiseco recommends to be like way too tight for running, you know, like 30, 35 pounds boost, stuff like that. Some guys say as much as 30, some guys say like 22. And I'll be honest, like, I'm not sure what to believe in. I would be a little fine with bigger. You know, bigger is way better than them coming together and blowing the engine. So I was kind of thinking like 27, 25, like top bottom. I don't know. I'll have to figure that out when I get there. Yeah, these are coming out nice and clean. So I also got to check my Fistem Hold Daddy. I also got to check. I got plastic gauge to check my crank and rod clearances. Kevin, the machinist Kevin, did polish the crank, and it is a new bearing and rod. So I got to make sure that clearances are right. Which I'm not sure what the clearances should be, so I'm gonna have to do a quick look them up on that. All right, them look better. You like my aluminum block, guys? What combo is going in this block? Manly Wiseco, 9-to-1 compies. Pretty standard stuff. I kind of wish I'd have done 10-to-1. Like a lot, to be honest. 10-to-1 lets you make the same power with less boost. And I run on 100% freaking Sunoco standard, so I really don't think there's a concern for fuel quality and detonation or anything like that. I do run a NOx sensor, right? All right, so I'm gonna get this stuff pulled out here once, just make sure I got what I need to be doing in order in my head, so I'm not skipping anything. So we gotta put together the rotating assembly, bottom end. So we got a plastic gauge, the crank, and the rods. So we don't have to have pistons on for that, which is fine. Probably be easier with the pistons not on the rods. This should be ACL rod bearings. Yep, that's ACL rod bearings. Let me get my mains. Where's my mains? Okay. Here's the thrust washers. Here's the mains. I got ARP hardware for this. Let me get that out. Here you go. Check that out. This was with those two 2Gs that I bought. Legit OEM Mitsubishi balance shaft delete kit. Ooh. I never use these. I always make it myself. So this is kind of exciting for me. Anyway. So this is main stud. Yep, this is it. These are the mains. Okay. So these got to go in. Okay. Well, look, stickies. Those will totally find their way on the car, right? You guys know what's up. All right. Screw the studs into the block, hand tight only. Note, Loctite may be used if a permanent mounting of the studs is preferred. The fasteners, however, must be torqued prior to the Loctite setting up. No, I'm not down with the Loctite, so I need to clean out make sure the stud holes are clean. Almost knocked over a bottle of fire. It wouldn't have done anything. Okay, let's clean these out. That one had stuff in it. Got me in the face. Sorry for all the noise. My bad. All right. Sorry about the compressor. My bad. Little dinky guy. Makes all the noises. Makes all the noises. So these are going to go in hand tight, but I'm not going to sit here and thread them all. We're going to use the driver. I don't understand why this pin is like when the stinking engine stand side loads a little bit, the pin don't fit no more. So damn annoying. Anyway, griping. First world problems. You can tell at the bottom of these I'm getting the threads that were not used, if you will. I mean, it's why they say to take and thread chase these, but I don't have the thread chaser, so it just is what it is. Too tight. Oh, no. Wrong way. Something just scalped me. Skinned me. This thing's gonna be all ARP'd out. It's gonna have ARP mains, ARP rods, ARP heads. I'm gonna dig out those sweet titaniums, titanium like head for the cylinder. For the cylinder head, for the intake manifold and exhaust manifold. I got a titanium set. I may not. I don't know. I don't know why I'm holding on to it though. I bought it. Why not use it? It's a there. Hold on. Sorry, group chats. We all got group chats, right? I don't think there's anybody in here that's not in my group chat. Ow. Sick? Okay. What do these get torqued to? ARP. 60? 60 foot-pounds. That's it. ARP Ultra Torque Faster Assembly Lubricant. I guess it's because that lubricant's like super fancy shit, eh? All right. So 60. Main studs. All right. So let's get the main bearings ready to go. These have to be cleaned before they can go in. So look at this. ARP kindly provides stuff with which to lay down on your dirty ass bench top. Nice. Kopieren bitte. Ah, there we go. They're wadded up so that you can't use it though. All right, rods, mainsted stuff. All right, look at that. That's nice. Yeah, here. Look at that. I say. I got 5 smooth boys and 5 not smooth boys. So my guess will be that the smooth boys go on the bottom where the highest load will be as the piston in this orientation is driving down towards the ground, hit it with a hammer. Good advice, Slug. And these guys with the grooves and the holes obviously will have to be lined up with the oiling holes. Here, you should be able to see there's oiling holes and grooves. Each one of these, not the that would be the rear main. The rear main does not have a groove. Does still have an oiling hole though. So let me get some brake clean and a rag and get these cleaned up. Now I know you're gonna say, but Sean, it's not brake parts cleaner. You can't use brake parts cleaner on something that's not a brake part, and I assure you it'll be okay. I guarantee it. In fact. I don't know if you guys have all seen that video by Dave Busher where he's arguing with the guys on the site EvoM about how long it takes to polish bearings before assembly, and he's going on about it. You're just cleaning off the shit that comes from where they're assembled and packaged and sent. And look at that. Sure enough, I mean, there's a bunch of shit on there. So I'm with him. Lies. Lies what? They come out of the box perfect, ready to go. No fapulation necessary. What are you doing today, Slag? Why don't you bring that mullet over here and hang out? You know, if you come over here with that mullet, that may be what pushes this channel over the limit. Currently at the gym. Right on. Well, get swole and then get over here. If you're at the gym, why the fuck are you watching YouTube streams? Get to work, man. Possibly. All right, them's all wiped off. Wiped orf. Feel compelled to wipe them off with the ATF though, just to make sure they're good to go. I am on a bike at the moment. Good on you, man. So the objective is put these together, dry, no oil, no lube. Put the plastic gauge on, torque it all down, take it apart, check the plastic gauge, and then we can install with assembly lube and torque it down. It'll be home. And then the next step will be to check the rod clearances with plastic gauge. So same assembly there, same steps there. Put it in, torque it down, dry, take it apart, check the tolerances. Who needs lube? LOL. And then if the tolerances are good, put it back together with assembly a lube, and be done. Well, the second assembly on the rods, though, will be with the pistons. So before I finish that assembly, I'll have to set ring gap and install rings on pistons, install pistons on the rods, which thankfully these aren't press fit. These are pinned on, so it'll be good to go. Hey, look at all that junk that came off on those. That would have been in the oil. That would have been rotating around on the surface of the crank. Just, you know. Who knows what that stuff would have done? Give it a clean and make sure everything's kosher before you just jam it in your engine. And this is the shit that takes forever. If you just slam it together and just fucking YOLO swag and send it, like it don't take no fucking time to put an engine together, right? But cleaning everything and checking everything. The term in my industry is due diligence. Do your due diligence. Do everything you can to make sure that this is right. Look at this, even after wiping, it's still coming off with junk on these bearings. Ba-ding, ba-ding. Back home rings on these bearings. These bearings still have junk coming off them as I'm wiping them. Piston cup. Did what in your cup? I told James yesterday at the race, he was all freaking out about, he wasn't freaking out, but he's fretting about missing second. He's been having a hard time with second locking him out. And I said, man, here's what you need to go do. You need to go sit in your car for 10 minutes with your eyes closed and just tell yourself, I am speed. I tried to get Oliver to go down with me, and he was all gung-ho. You know, he's all, I want to go racing. And I told him to go get dressed, and he's 3. He'll be 4 this month. But he comes back, and he's got an Under Armour shirt that says Unleash Speed. He calls it his speed shirt. I love he runs around, and he'll go, speed! And he just runs like, it's like Naruto, you know, like Ninja Run, but It's so funny. It's so good. Funny for a kid to do it, not funny for an adult. Yeah, look at these. These look totally different. Before they were a real dull color. Okay, cool. So time to push these in. Get out here, chair. And the way. They got notches. For anybody that's new to this, there's a notch. See this notch? This side does not have a notch. It's smooth. This side has a notch. The notch corresponds to a location in the block. If you ever find yourself doing this, it should be evident what you're supposed to be doing. Shouldn't really be a surprise. And I like to get the notch located in this top edge flush, and then just roll them down and in, push them down and in. They're going to have to be flush, both sides. So you just take and roll them in there whichever way they need to go to be flush. Of course, if they're not flush, if the notch doesn't fit, you got stuff going on. You got the wrong size, or something happened with the manufacturing of the bearings. I've seen that. I can't remember what engine it was. I think it was something my dad was putting together. The notch didn't fit. Wouldn't go in all the way. Trying to make sure that these journals are all free of debris. Just give them a quick wipe with my finger before I jam these in here. All right, right on. That's all in. Now I need Mr. Crankshaft. Mr. Crankshaft is freaking buried. Let me dig that out real quick. I gotta remember to drop the thrust washer in there at some point too. Hiya! That looks nice. Kevin is the machinist I keep referring to. His machine shop is called Huck's. It's over on the east side of Cincinnati. And, I went over there and, yeah, it's a 7-bolt. I've actually, in working with the 7-bolts, I found that they've got some really neat designs that I like. They've got main girdles, which is what's sitting over here I'm pointing at now. 6-bolts don't have a main girdle, so that helps increase rigidity and flex. There was something else about them that I liked. I'm fucking it up now. The only thing I don't like about 7-bolts is they use a smaller head stud. I wish they retained the larger head stud from the 6-bolt. So I kind of waffled on using L19s. I've just got a new set of regular ARPs. If it lets go and it proves me that it needs L19s, then so be it. But the whole discussion, what's better, 6-bolt, 7-bolt, like, for sure 6-bolts have stronger pistons and connecting hardware and stuff from the factory, but 7-bolts have they have a windage tray. There's a windage tray that hugs the crank that helps catch the oil being flung off the crank. And that's really cool, right? Because again, like, if you're dipping and causing windage, which you always have windage, because even drops of oil returning to the oil pan get hit by that crank and it creates a windage cloud. So anything that can be done to minimize that helps produce power, because your crank's not having to spin through this cloud of oil. So anyway, I think that they did some neat things with the 7-bolts, and I wish they would have. I wish they just would have kept the larger head hardware. I'm gonna have to go over this, give this a clean. It's a little dirty. So before I do that, though, I'm gonna take and push the push the bearings in for the girdle. I mean, I guess like what would be really good if you're trying for big power, big flow would be a 6-bolt head on a 7-bolt block, but pay somebody to take the block up to the next size head stud, the 6-bolt head stud size. I don't know. These engines are so good, and most guys are never gonna try and make the power to max them out. That it really just doesn't matter. It's all moot discussion. Like everybody's worried about optimizing and trying to get the last few percent, but you're not there. You're there on a car that you're trying to tickle the last, the last little bit out of it. They have an extra bolt on the crank. What do you mean they have an extra bolt on the crank? They don't have an extra main. They all have 5 mains. Which bolt are you talking about, Money? Anyway. Oh, the 7-bolt. Get out of here. You're banned. Yo, what's up, Kim? I always thought some of the things they changed were weird, just little things mostly, but they seemed like they were in the other direction with some of them, but also for other aspects. Right. The 6-bolt was far too much for a 200 horsepower engine. The 7-bolt seemed more appropriate for a 200 horsepower engine, right? I mean, it was an era of overbuild things, though. Now manufacturers that build engines that are targeted for 200 horsepower, they're nothing like these, right? I mean, they're just nowhere near as good. Like the new setup. Thanks, brah. Yeah, this crank's good and dirty. We spend a few minutes wiping this down, getting this cleaned up, and then we'll do the plastic gauge. Yeah, Kevin did a good job on this crank. It looks so good. It looked like shit when I took it to him. He was worried he was going to have to cut it. And he said a polish was all that it needed. It looks fucking great. That's the best thing to have is a good machinist. Somebody that gets it. Somebody that has fast cars. You talk to them about what you're doing and what you're trying to do, and they know the words that you're saying. They're not just guys that make I'm just the guy that makes the chips. They actually understand the fucking cars and the engines and what's going on. What sucks is he's probably not far from retirement, and I'll be stuck trying to find another guy. Joe says, well, like they went to a smaller turbo in the 2nd gen. Wolf valve was made from plastic, but they used a better flowing made, accompanied by a map sensor, bigger. Yeah, but that, the T25 still made more power from the factory than the 14B did. And, you might argue that that's differences in the engine, compression, stuff like that, but it's just all about what they're trying to do, man. They're not thinking about us. They're not thinking about guys that are going to fucking modify these things and try to make them make 500 horsepower on the stock fucking internals. They're trying to just make the best product they can and get people to buy it. You know what I'm saying? Cars aren't made to do anything but make a profit, Joe. So they're just trying to make a car that will make them a profit. Yeah, that's true. All right, this is coming off cleaner now. haven't been into the lab in freaking months. Otherwise, I would have got a box of lint-free, actual lint-free freaking cloths and been doing this with those instead of coffee filters. So, such as it is, work with what you can get. Coffee filters are fine. Okay. All right. Dropped it in. I'm going to go ahead and put the thrust washers in now so I don't forget. Remember that cut on your finger? Brake cleaner remembers. You know what's real funny is like in the past I've done this and I've not taken as much time and I've skipped a lot of steps and just hillbilly it together, jam it together, put the shit back together, and shit was fine. Car ran, you know, made okay street power, stuff like that. But with this, I am so fucking nervous that I'm gonna fuck this up, skip a step, not do it right. What's my method to keep the crank from turning? What do you mean, for doing the plastic gauge? So anyway, back to what I was saying. It's so different, you know, trying to build something I know I'm going to try and push actual freaking power through. I'm so worried about it. I don't know. I didn't even think about it. I'll be honest. I was just going to torque it down. I didn't think it would try to turn. Do you think it's going to try and turn? Poured too much ATF in my filter. I mean, it shouldn't, like, dude, it's dry. Like, it doesn't want to turn. It wants to just sit here. So I don't think it'll be a problem. You know, other guys have made 600 horsepower on this same turbo that I'm using, and I'd like to max out the turbo. I'm gonna have to work with the fuel system a little bit, and I might need better cams, but you know, I'll cross that bridge when I come there. I just would really like to max out this FP turbo. So one thing when you're trying to make 300 horsepower, you're still within like the operating what the stock internals will handle, stuff like that. It's something else entirely. Like I'm putting in Wiseco pistons, mainly rods, different bolts and hardware and shit. Like I don't know. And I'm not even worried about wasting the money. I want the thing to do good. I want to be successful. All right, so I've never installed 7-volt thrust washers, and looking at them, they have a flat side. This side is flat. This side is not. Trying to get there to not be a glare on this. There's grooves here and here, and then there's like a chamfer. So I'd imagine the flat side faces the block, and actually what tells me that it does is the part number is stamped in here. The part number never faces the contact surface. So this I guess this is a wipe. This is like an oil wipe. I don't know. It's kind of weird. Jeffrey used a wood clamp and a wrench to keep it in place when he torqued them down. I don't know, man. Like I've ARP'd a main before and like, oh wait, like for torquing down the rod bolts, that I could see being an issue. I might come up with something for that. So you can also do interesting things since you got counterweights. You can take and you can put in underneath the counterweights between the webbing and the counterweight, you can put in like an extension and just set it down on there and then ka-chunk. So cross that bridge when I get to it, yeah. All right, well, that thrust washer just dropped right down in. Forget if it was rods or mains. Right on. Well, if something wants to turn, I'll figure it out. All right, that thrust washer dropped right on in. I can tell, like, based on the chamfers, that they're in there in the right orientation. Don't compare me to Jaffro. That dude has such high attention to detail. It's insane. And like, I would like to have that kind of attention to detail, but I just simply don't. I'm definitely bad for this is fine. This is good enough. And then off I go. Okay. Bearings are in the main girdle. Bearings are in the block. Thrust washers are in. The hardware is all in hand tight. I think it's now time to present the main girdle. Present the main girdle to the block. So the arrow should be pointing towards the front. And there's also 6 bolts. Those are for the windage tray and oil pickup tube, stuff like that. Cool. All right, let me get the plastic gauge. Also, I got to look and see what the recommended clearance is. I don't have that information ready to go. Fun search. My throat's already getting a little rough from all the talking. It sucks. Okay. 4G63, 7 bolt, main and rod clearance. Main bearing clearance on the tuners. What is standard oil clearance? I was about 7. Huh? Oh, this guy says he was about 0.7 of a tenth up to a tenth. 8 to 20 thousandths? 20 thousandths is woof. All right, no, you're right. Fucking here it is. It says same thing on the thread. Factory service manual calls for 8 to 20 with a 40 thousandths limit. Okay. Fuck. God, 20,000. Hey, 8 seems fine. Okay, so shit, are these in millimeters? All right, there we go. Flip them over and they're in inches. So we're going to use yellow. Use yellow for 9 to for 9 to 20 thousandths. Some run 30. Right on. All right, so we need yellow. Kind of curious what the difference between the green and the red is on this. Oh, here's the directions. Let's read the directions. Step 1: assemble the upper bearing shell into the housing and then install the crankshaft. Lay a strip of plastic gauge lengthwise across the center of the bearing journal. Figure 1. Okay. Install the lower bearing shell and cap and tighten the fastener to specified torque. Loosen the bolts and remove the bearing cap and lower shell, being careful not to rotate the crankshaft. Okay, I'm not worried about that. Compare the thickness of the now compressed plastic gauge strip to the chart on its package to determine the bearing clearance. Carefully remove all traces of plastic gauge from both the crankshaft journal and the bearing before final assembly. All right, I mean, that's straight up. I just don't know what the difference between the red and the green is. Oh, it's for the range that it can measure up to. Okay. So the green is for 0.01 to 0.03, and the red is for 0.002 to 0.006. But that says clearance range. But then if you look down here, use yellow. Did I get the wrong fucking ones? I got the wrong fucking ones. I can't measure up to as high as I need to go. Well, that sucks. Piss. And this is where I just put the shit together and send it. No, for green it says 0.001 to 0.003. So I mean, like, we can use the red and we can make sure that we're not like too tight, but I can't check to see if I'm too wide. And he cut material off the crank, so I'm more concerned that I'm too wide now because I got standard size bearings. No, this says clearance range. This is where I just send it, man. I don't have a fucking dial I don't have a dial bore indicator or any of that shit. I don't have none of that fancy shit. Machinist said it should be fine. Use the standard size. That's what I'm using. Yeah, evidently I need the fucking yellow. Fuck. Yeah, these aren't gonna work. Fuck it. I'll hit it with the red. The red will read up to 6 thousandths. So we'll just do this. Just make sure it's not too tight on the. Well, fuck it. We'll do it everywhere, just to say we did. See what happens. I can't get it out of the fucking package. You can tell I've never used this stuff before. You talked me into it, Tony. I wasn't going to do it. It won't come out of the package. What the fuck? I guess you just cut it out? Yeah, I feel like I'm going to cut the fucking stuff. All right, putting the strips on. This will at least tell us if it's too tight. I won't know if I'm too damn loose, but whatever. So like using a micrometer to measure the outside dimension of the crank is easy. That's real easy. It's not so easy to use a micrometer to measure the inside dimension of a circle. So usually, like I tried buying the snap gauges, the T snap gauges, but AutoZone didn't have them, and I didn't feel like going all the way to Harbor Freight. I don't have a bore gauge indicator. It's gonna be fun. I mean, this is gonna read big, which is fine. I mean, dude, like you guys are more worried about this than I am. I'll put this shit together and send it. Like, you know, I'll check the things and stuff like that, but I'm just genuinely not worried on it. The thing was together and running, and Kevin says he didn't take off enough material to need to go up in a bearing size. So I don't know. It's just a lot of to do. No, it's not a problem, dude. Fucking send it. Put on the ARP lube underneath the washers. Giving them a spin. Make sure there's plenty of the lube underneath them. I'm gonna put dabs on top, and then up the thread. Pretty sure this is just a moly paste. I'm going to put it a little bit on the inside of each nut. If I recall, these are half inch, 12-point half inch. He was a little upset with himself. It started raining immediately after, so it's not like he would have gotten another round anyway. Bracket racing's weird, man. I'm not like you don't have to. You write your dial in on the window of the car, and you don't even have to have your dial in on until you're like pulling up to do a burnout. So you got guys that like look to see what their opponent's dial in is, and if they think they're a faster car, they'll write the same number down and then just bumper you. Like it's weird, man. Like bracket's so weird. Index racing is much better. Yeah, windage tray goes on these guys. Maybe they're 13s. They are 12s. All right. 60. Let's do it. Let's do it in 2 steps. Let's go 30 and then 60. All right, 30. Let's go 60. All right. Okay. Down. Let's take them off. Some of these are pulling up the studs a little bit, which is fine. Supposed to wait 15 minutes for what? It didn't say that on the plastic gauge. What are you talking about? No, it just says install and then loosen. It doesn't say wait 15 minutes. What are you smoking, man? Balancing as in weight matching them, yes. They're not getting balanced as an assembly. The heavy piston will be with the light rod and so forth. And as long as they're within as long as they're, appreciably close, no more than like 1 to 2% difference between them, then that's all I'm going to do. If they're more than 1 to 2% different across the assembled rod and piston, then I'll look at taking material off, doing anything like that. But otherwise, I wasn't planning on it. Just gonna weight match them. Okay. So for the red, okay. So the red can measure 2 thousandths to 6 thousandths. So according to this is 2 thousandths. There's no way. There's no way there's only 2 thousandths. I don't like the information I'm receiving. There's no way after the crank has been polished that there's only 2 thousandths clearance here. There's no way. I mean, these are standard. These aren't oversized. These are standards. Oh, no. No, this is fine. I'm fucking dumb, dude. I'm fucking dumb. 20 thousandths. It's not 20 thousandths. It's 2. It's 2 thousandths. It's fucking 0.0008 to 0.0002. These are all 0.0002. Like, these are fine. Fucking dumb. Yeah. 0.002. And you want these 0.0008 to 0.002. And they're like every single one of them. 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. These are fine. I'm dumb. Jesus Christ. So I've got micrometers. I don't have them that big, and I've got dial calipers. I still don't like the snap gauges. It is so hard to measure the inside dimension of a circle because you never know if you're exactly at, a perfect split all the way through it. It's impossible to know. So you can take multiple measurements and you can average. I'm fine with this. These are, every single one of these is 2,000ths. This is fine. It wasn't 8 to 20. It was 0.8 of a thousandths to 2,000ths is what that is. I misread it the first go through. This is fine. Now I gotta get the plastic gauge off my shit. All right, cool. How do you get plastic gauge off? Break clean. No, it's good. I'm just dumb. I misread it the first go through. I read it as 8 to 20 thousandths, and it's not. It's less than 1,000 to 2,000ths. So I'm just dumb. Got worked up about having the wrong plastic gauge and all for no reason. Take a step back, take a breath, reevaluate. It's good that everything's fine though. Literally every single one of these was on the nose too. Plastic scraper. I don't have one. Brake clean's taking it off just fine. Just a little rubbing. I ordered a bunch of parts last night for the automatic stuff. I ordered all the rebuild parts. I got a full rebuild kit with clutches and drums and gaskets and all that stuff. I got the stronger end clutch kit. I got a third gear clutch kit from Kibley. I ordered the shift box. I guess I got to pick a fluid that I'm going to use. Like, there's some kind of like Hygra something that people use. Kigley talks about on his website. Or there's a red line, I think, which I really like the red line stuff. That's what I was using in the manual trans. I think red line's dope stuff. Of course, I was using gear oil in the manual trans, not ATF, but I think you get it. All right. Check this out. Good stuff. Lucas. I thought I had to peel a thingy doodle off, but nope. I think I probably use more assembly oil than what is strictly necessary, but can't imagine that in this more is hurtful than less. Seems like less would be what fucks you, or dropping your thrust washer on the ground. Could also literally fuck you. So the 7 bolts, unless you weld them up, they are integrally part of the block. You don't have an option in it. They're literally the holes are cast into the block and machined in the block, and then they press in little steel inserts that are squirters. So yes, I'm running squirters. These aren't like big gnarly contraptions like the 6 bolt. They're very little discreet small guys, so I'm fine with them. I like that the way that they are on these. And I'm gonna go through and make sure that all these main studs are finger tight again, because actually it looks like almost every single one of them pulled up a little bit. Did you have squirters in your car? Right. I think if for nothing else, they're good for cooling the bottom of the piston. I mean, oiling the wrist pin is a little bit of a concern too, right? Like, so I think they're worthwhile. I actually, when I had that White Summit that Nick now has, I was adding an oil return I was putting an oil return on the PN so that I could turbo the car. And I found that the 1.6, the 4G61, has the bosses machined in, and Mitsubishi just blocks them off on the 4G61. So I actually took and put in oil squirters. I took oil squirters out of a junk block I had sitting around, and I took and put oil squirters on it. And I really thought it was beneficial. Didn't help the engine live. I still killed that engine, but helped my mental state on it. Get my thrust washers lined back up. They're in there a little wonky. Where'd my screwdriver go? There it is. Don't want to mess with oil pressure too. Well, I think a lot of guys try to get as much oil pressure as they can, right? All right, let me just touch everything back up a little bit more ARP here. ARP lubums. All right. Sick. 30-60, Torquey, here we go. On 6-bolt pickup, it has a bracket that's held onto the main stud, which you have to cut when you switch to main studs. Are the 7 bolts the same? I don't think so, but let me check. No. So pick up on the 7-bolt bolts to the pump only, no bracket. Capiche? Good looking out. It's crazy all the differences, isn't it? Okay, 30. Let's go up to 60. And the crank will be in. Yeah, so many small differences. I just wish the 7-bolt had, I was saying this before, I don't know if you were in the chat at the time. I just wish the 7-bolt had the larger head studs that the 6-bolt has. And I think I've talked to you about that before. You know, if I need the L19s later, the budget will allow for it better later than now. I don't have the extra $300 at the moment. I need that money for transmission build parts, you know. So this is what it is. When you plastic gauge the rods, put it on the bottom half. So like on the rod side, not the cap side. Or do you mean on the cap side? Oh, wow. Rod side, not cap side. Right on. Okay. You have to knock the rod off after you torque it. Right on. I just wanted to see what the end play was going to be like. There's like none. I mean, you expect there to be some, right? Maybe not on a newly assembled engine. Shouldn't be any end play. I don't know what the tolerance is for the thrust washers. I don't feel like I'm getting any though, but of course it could be if it's 1 to 2 thousandths and it's not making a noise. Yeah, there's like none, like no side to side, or just so very little. Cool, right? On to the next thing. So these are all weighed already. So they all have numbers, right? So the big ends range from 413.3 to 413.8. That's the big end. So there's only a 0.3 of a gram. That's got to be in grams, right? There's only 0.3 gram, or I'm sorry, 0.5 gram, half gram difference on the big ends. The small ends vary from 172.1 up to 173.5. So there's a 1.4 gram difference on the small ends. So I don't know. Let me go get my gram scale and a drink. I'll be right back. What's everyone else doing today? Watching Sean wrench. All right, Tony, what do you think? What do you think is good ring gap? Trash. Trash. All right, so Manley says this rod should weigh 586 grams. This rod should be 586 grams. $586. Sure enough, 586 it is. So I think Manley's measurements are good. And I'm gonna start numbering these. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, this one should weigh 586.2. My gram scale doesn't do partials of a gram, so but it does say 586, and it's kind of flickering to 587. Yeah, so we'll say 587. We'll believe Manley's numbers better than mine. It looks like their scale was more sensitive. Okay, so this is number 2. 586.2. This is number 3. Number 3, according to Manley, weighs 585.6. Hefty bitch. How does your wrist pin fit? My Eagle H-beams were tight. Had Kevin massage the small end. Haven't checked yet. This is the first I've had these all out at the same time. I've only previously had like one out at a time. I didn't want to have them all out and goof it up. Okay, so this one's number 3. And number 3 should weigh. Okay. Oh, I already did it. 585.6. So dumb. Okay. Number 4. 413.5 plus 173.5. This one should be 587. Oh, here, I didn't put this one on my cheapy gram scale. Should say 587. I'm sorry, 586 because it's 585.6, which it does, 586. Okay. So number 4. Did you already put your engine back together, dude? Or are you still waiting to get the block back? Okay, this is number 4. Should be 587. Let's see what it is here. 588, eh? Let's tear this thing. 587. Again, this thing only reads in whole grams, so. Okay, cool. Let's get the pistons out. Pretty sure Wiseco measured all these too. I'll probably trust Wiseco's measurement over what I'm measuring. Still waiting. Sorry, dude. How long has he had it? He didn't have mine for very, very long. So 358, 358, 358, and 358. Evidently, according to Wiseco, the pistons are all the same. And let's see if that's true. That says 358. 358. 358. Oh, 359. Thank God we got one that reads heavy on my scale. Cool. Let me see if I switch this thing to ounces. What we get. So, dang it, I shook the table. Let's start over. So 12.6 ounce. $12.6 ounce. $12.6 ounce. Please be more. 12.65 ounce. Yeah, let's let me open up and dropped off 2 weeks ago. I changed my mind on pistons and rods. All right, on. Let me weigh these wrist pins. See if we can do some balancing with the wrist pins. Then we're just going to have to calculate what the percent difference is. See if the percent difference is significant. If it's not, we carry on. Okay. So 4.65 ounce. Please don't drop on floor, Sean. That one's 4.7 ounce. Now, flicked back to 4.65, but it initially hit 4.7. So I'm going to record it as 4.7. If it's a little bit heavier, then that's good. I'll use that for balancing. Looks like some run 21 to 30 thousandths top and 22 to 25 per second ring. Yeah, but like 21 to 30 is a big, big difference. That one's 4.65 ounce. I wish I had a nicer gram scale now. Fucking thing, just cheap. I use it just as a quality check when I'm doing reloads. I think I'm just gonna go 25-25. Truth to tell. All right, also 4.65 ounce. So Wise Coast quality control is fucking insane. So I'm sure if I reweigh this one that came up 4.7, it's straight 4.65. Well, now it reads 4.7. Okay, this one is 4. Again, it flicked 4.7 and it flicks back down to 4.65. This one's a 4.7. It's slightly heavier. Okay. So my rods are 585.6, 586, 586.2, and 587. I got one piston that's slightly heavier than the others by just a little bit. So I'm going to put that piston with that rod, put the heavy piston with the light rod, and that'll give us 944.6 total grams. Okay. So then all the others get the same 358. So we'll do 358 plus 586. That's a 944. 586.2 plus 358. That's a 944.2. And then we got 358 plus 587. This one's a 945. So we'll put the 4.7 ounce wrist pin with the 944, and it doesn't matter where the others go. Ta-da! They are balanced. I mean, and the total difference is, you know, I got a gram out of 1,000 from the big to the little. So you're talking about like 0.1%. You know, like it's not significant. It's not even 1%, which would be 10 total grams. So this is fine. This is good. Just going to take and mark everything with the number that I'm using. So this is set 3. This is set 1. Set 2. And set 4. Bammer jammer. I'm good with it. Okay, let me clean up some things and we'll get on with the plastic gauge and the rods and assembling. Then we got to set ring gap and assemble. So yay! Yeah, here, check this out. So this is, where's it at? There's a guide. Okay, hold on. All right, here you go. Okay. Ring gap table instructions. Application. Street moderate turbo nitrous. Street moderate. high performance street strip, and like the high performance street strip is a tighter gap than the street moderate turbo nitrous because it's turbo nitrous. The biggest blown race only uses the second highest gap. The nitrous race only uses the highest gap, which it's not a nitrous engine, so I don't need all that gap. So you multiply your inch bore size by the bore times column for your application to determine the end gap. So these are 85.5 divided by 25.4. Sorry, 3.37 inch. So if we say 3.37 inch times 0.0065, it says to use 0.0218 or 22 thousandths. And that would be for the top. And then for the bottom, you would use the 3.37 inch times 0.007, and that one's 24 thousandths. So 22 top, 24 bottom. To me exactly, but he called Wiseco and he said it's what they said. So I just gotta trust in him. So anyway, so I can do the 22, 24. Yeah, thousandths, right? That's what Wiseco says to do. It's 22 to 24 thousandths. And I could go a little bit higher. I could do like a 23, 25. Oh, relay. It's whatever Kevin said. It's like when I asked him about it, he couldn't remember what the exact number was, but he promised me he called Wiseco and talked to the guys at Wiseco and used what they said. So, you know, I had told him what my performance gains were. So I can't quote the exact number. It's just what Kevin said it to. So no, I think I might do a 23 and a 25. 23 top ring, 25 bottom ring. Oil rails may be installed without modifying the end gap. The gap should be a minimum of 10 thousandths. Okay. Anyway, I don't have the fancy dangly dudes for doing the rod gap, putting the rods in, like the sleeves that go over the end. Let me see if I can come up with something real quick because I don't want to scratch my shit. I should have vacuum caps. Oh no, hold on. These use bolts. I'm dumb. These use bolts, not studs, so that's not a concern. Derp. Oh, that's cool. These actually already are. Manly has them already numbered. You're going 21 top and 25 second. Oh, are these pinned? Oh, if these are pinned, I'm so happy. Oh, they're pinned. Yes. Awesome. They're pinned. They got locators. So good. I don't know why I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting it to just be a flat surface that's located by the bolt. Maybe I'm just not remembering the way that freaking rods are designed. Maybe they're all pinned like that, but I don't think they are. Here's a question. What do I torque these rod bolts to? Here's funny. There's a sticker on the inside of the Manly box. It says, must use second gen 7-bolt bearings. Recommend part numbers ACL 4B1185H. Hey, hey, is what I got. Or Clevites. Boo. Okay. Talks about minimum clearance, which I'm not worried about minimum clearance. Like, there shouldn't be a problem, but I will check, make sure they're not tight anywhere. Checking clearances. Following clearances must be maintained to ensure proper connecting rod performance. The big end housing bore is sized to provide proper crush. Connecting rod bearing to crankshaft clearance should be set at 2 thousandths minimum to 3 thousandths maximum during assembly. Side clearances on both rods should be a minimum of 15 thousandths to a maximum of 25 thousandths per pair. I've got feeler gauges. I can feel the side. I can check out the side. Recommended side clearances for the Ford. We're not playing with Ford. Recommended wrist pin clearance is 0.08 of a thousandth, so less than a thousandth minimum, to 1.5 thousandths maximum. In some cases, depending upon actual wrist pin diameter, this may not provide adequate clearance, may require sizing at the time of installation. I don't know how the fuck I check wrist pin clearance, other than just feeding them in. I mean, they wiggle. Like, they're not tight. I mean, I don't think that's anything I can manipulate. Unless I take them to the machine shop, like you said. Come on, go in there. There we go. All right, well, that one's snug. Okay. Interesting. It's a damn copper or brass bushing though. Like how worried should you be about it being snug? You know what I mean? It's gonna wear in. It's gonna mother its way in. All right, there we go. So I just cleaned this. It's just the one side that's a little tight. So it's just like this corner is like a little tight. I'm just gonna take a hit with an emery cloth real quick and a wipe off and see how it feels now. Yeah, that's exactly what I did. I just slightly emery cloth the edges. I think that's fine. Yeah, that one's good. No, that one's good. I'm hitting this one again with a little bit of emery cloth. Yep, nope. That feels good. I think that's fine. I'm not worried on it. Okay. Bolt part number, bolt diameter. So this is for sure ARP 1000, 3/8. There's no way these are 7/16 guys. For sure 3/8 guys. Torque value with 30 weight oil. Why not? Why not with the ARP loop stuff? All right, that's fine. I don't have 30 weight oil. I have 10W30. These are getting put together with the ARP stuff. UHL. I don't know what UHL is. So these are either going to be 60 or 65. Same bolt stretch though, 58 to 62. Kevin told you to go 5 pounds tighter on the rod bolts. Yeah. I'm just going to go 65 on these. 60 is the bottom, 65 is the top. But I'm not going to do it with engine oil. I'm going to do it with the ARP lube. And that ARP lube, it lets you get an actual tighter pull on it. So I'm going to go 65 foot-pounds. 65 foot-pounds is the maximum that they recommend with the 3/8. But I'm going to do it with the ARP Moly, not with engine oil. That's going to be my plans. That's what I'm doing. Let me get all these cleaned up. I got to get these cleaned up. I got to get the rod bearings cleaned up. I got to get the rod bearings pushed in the rods. We can rock and roll. We can check some clearances and assemble. Well, we got to check clearances, and then we got to check ring gap. It'd be nice if it was just check ring gap and not set ring gap. I know it's going to be set ring gap. I tried buying a ring filer. Couldn't get one in time, so it's just going to be the old tried and true do it by hand method. Don't judge me. I'm going to use a file. Anyone know what thread pitch PVC on the valve cover is? I thought it was 1/8 NPT, but apparently I thought wrong. It's not 1/8 NPT. It's a Japanese or a British pipe thread of some kind. It may be a British pipe thread. Dremel on a vise. I don't have a Dremel. I got an angle grinder. I'd honestly rather just do it by hand. I feel like I'm more in control by hand. Have less opportunity to take off way too much. My stomach's rumbling. I don't think I had breakfast. Yeah, I did. I had breakfast. What time is it? Well, it's 2:30. Yeah, I haven't had lunch. If Slag rolls up in here, I'm going to make him go get me some Skyline. Yep, there you go. Call me lazy if you want them to sit down. Okay. Yeah. Trash can's getting full of fucking plastic, man. Am I putting together an engine? Why is there so much plastic? Good stuff, yay. Lazy if you want, right on, man. Thank you. Did you guys see it? I ran out of black, clean black freaking compression socks. I had to resort to a white guy. It's like, it just looks so much less cool, man. It's already turning, like, it'll be black eventually, just not like consistent. Oh-de-do-de-do. Well, I thought using these blue towels would be better, and they're actually not. They're worse. BSP. Tuners has an NPT. Well, I guess the catch can is not going together today. Wow. Never mind. Fuck this thing, dude. Fucking everything's garbage anymore. Fucking cheap ass. Everything's fucking cheap. Everything's shit. Even the fucking blue towels. Sorry, with a white cloth, I can actually see what kind of shit comes off. Showing my fire. Hell yeah. I was actually going to say, bring that fucker over here and we'll weld fittings on the bitch. Let's go. Don't you know how to weld? The machine's right there. It's kind of got gas. I do have plastic to assemble. It should have enough gas, Joe. I mean, it stopped reading on the gauge like 3 weld jobs ago, but the gauge is 500 pissies. Tony, you going to shoot out? Need to weld your intercooler pipe. Okay. Let's go. Bring Skyline. I'm just kidding. Don't bring anything. Just bring your pipe. Tony, you going to shoot out? It's only 2.5 hours away now instead of 4. You could like literally drive up and drive back. August 14th, 15th, and 16th. The 14th is the hangout at Busher Shop up in Wakeman. That's 4 hours away. None of our crew is going to that. So I'm just going to go up. I'm going to go up Friday night just to get a good pit spot. 14th, 15th, 16th of August. Sorry. I'm just going to go up Friday night to get a good pit spot and stuff like that and just see what's going on. Maybe there will be a Friday night testing tin. That'd be cool. And then Saturday, Sunday is the racing. No max effort, drag race only. There's 1150 and 1250 index classes, along with like street appearing and stuff like that. But the problem with the street appearing classes is the motherfuckers run fucking 9s. Like it's street appearing, but they're all retarded fast. I hear something rumbling down the street. It's probably something purple. There should be hotels somewhere, man. Like, even if you got to drive 30 minutes or so to get to a hotel, like, there'll be a hotel. We're not camping. Jess is kind of toying with the idea of sleeping in the trailer with an AC unit or some shit. I'll just fucking pay for hotels. Especially if you get a few people going in on it. You know, if you got a couple guys that are fine with sleeping in a bed together and you get like a 2-bedroom deal, you get Jess and I and then 2 other people, like it makes it real cheap. The camping shit's just so fucking rough. I think James is going to go. I told him he's going to have to come and be prepared to watch fast cars run. Because, you know, they're going to allow Hondas up there this year. Does anybody see what I did there? Do you see what I did there? Anybody see? See what I did there? No, not word. It's bullshit. It's our event. It's fucking for us. Fuck those Hondas. It's only one class. It's just the fast class. And it's because the fast class is always like the same fucking like 5 people or some shit. So the concern is just that it's going to turn into another import face-off. If you start letting in these other fucking manufacturers, you know, Subarus and Hondas, it's just going to be a fucking... Then before you know it, you got the fucking 2-step contest, and you got the fucking... just the car show and all the retarded shit, and that's not how Shootout is. Putting bearings on rods. Rods have been bearinged. Okay, so let's think about how I want to do this. I think I want the heavier rods on the inside, the heavier combos on the inside, and the lighter stuff on the outside. So I'm gonna go put this one in position 1, put this one in position 4, and then we'll put this one in position 2 and this one in position 3. I think that should be good. Okay, now I need to cut 4 pieces of the plasti crap, plastic shit. There we go. Finally came apart. Fuck me. Anyway. There we go. All right, position 1. Oh, what are you? Oh, my bad. I didn't see that. Yeah, I got Lucas. It's good. It's like real sticky, like real stringy. I'd put the pistons and rods together first. Why? No, there's no direction for the rods. I don't want to mess with dragging the pistons in and out of the hole a bunch of times. I mean, I'm going to have to put this together, take it apart. Right. I'm just checking clearance on this. I also don't want, but I also don't want the weight of the piston pulling down right now. That rod is holding itself on there just because I pushed it together and the dowels slid in. So now I can just gently feed this in here and get this started, and I don't have to worry about it dropping out or anything. I mean, if I slide the piston in the hole, it should hold itself in place anyway, right? But I'm just gonna do it like this. We'll mess with the pistons in a second. With the piston, you think it would? It might. I don't know. It's hanging in there right now. It's just dangling in there. Plus, I was able to feed it in from the top, and I had to worry about like flipping the engine block around. I just moved the crank out of the way, put it in there, got it on, squished it together. Now it's on there. These are 11 millimeters. Millimeters. We'll go in two steps. We'll go 30 and then 65. $30 and $65. Ah, I see what Jaffro was saying. Okay. I don't know if that just messed up that plastic gauge. Probably did, huh? And we'll see. Might have to repeat this one. So here I put a, it did, get out of here. I'm just going to put a little, all right. I'm going to take it back apart. I put a little extension in here just to hold it in place. I'm going to take it back apart. We'll put a new piece of plastic gauge on it. We Ah! Well, it's stuck to the crank. It'd have been fine. It wasn't a straight line still. It probably would have been fine. There's no way of knowing that without looking, though, right? What about a wood scraper? No. So much no. You know, dude, that one's on there in a straight line. Like it doesn't look like it's messed up. It's not smeared in any way. I'm just gonna run it with that one. Take and record that one, and if it's no bueno, then we'll repeat it. Yeah, I'm just not. So, okay, I see what you're saying about putting the pistons on, but I still don't feel like sliding pistons in and out a bunch. This is not what I. If anything, I'll just forego this test. Okay, there we go. Now that it's tight, it's stabilized. All right, 65. Here we go. See, like it. No, it's just bogus, dude. Cool. 65. It's on. Yeah, that's not going to happen. Yeah. Hey, man, I just really don't care about this at the moment. This is getting on my nerves. Fuck me. All right, this is kind of pissing me off, so I'm just gonna go for a ring gap, and we'll give it a try when we install the pistons. If the pistons are in the hole and they're wet with the rings, I'm fine with them moving up and down. I'm not fine with them moving up and down in the hole dry as fuck. Like, that's what I don't want to do. I don't want to be sliding them up and down in there dry as shit, in and out, in and out, in and out. So set ring gap, put rings on pistons, put pistons on rods, put them in there, and then I'll check it. All right. Cylinder one. Right on. I'm with you. The fucking drawings of their rings don't match what the fuck I've got in my hand. No, they don't have a top and a bottom. Like they just have the part number marked on them. And like this one doesn't have a bevel, but the edges look rounded. So I think this is the top ring. This one has a bevel on the fucking outside, not the inside. We have another ring set, see if they're consistent. Yeah. Per their drawings, the top ring should have rounded over edges, which this ring is rounded over. There's no bevel. And then this ring has a bevel, which it says here that an unmarked second ring with an inner bevel should be installed bevel side down. An unmarked top ring with an inner bevel should be installed bevel side up. Yeah. Run with it. All right, tops 23, seconds 25. These might already be at 21 on the top, but I wanted to go to 23. No, they're like 20 or tighter. Okay. Nope. Gonna file. Let's look. I think my file's touching this fucking ring. You know, if you want to come over, you can just come over. You don't got to keep offering tools. Okay. Okay. Still not enough. Close. What up, Joe? Huh? That's how bad the surface was. It was rusty and fucked up. Yeah. It was nasty. That's why I went to the machine shop.
Anybody still in here?
Huh?
Anybody still in here?
2? I think just Monday and Tony. All right. Got there, finally. Okay. Now, 25 for the stinking bottom ring. Ugh. He used to have a Glock in a holster glued to his hip.
You ever hit anything?
Came off. You know better.
They manslaughter get the competition plus guy, all kinds of shit. I had to shoot out one year. I mean, walk around.
Yeah.
You ever actually hit anything with your blaster? Once.
Hit a bird.
Hit a bird.
Okay. Ring gaps.
Never done that before.
Gapping fools. So it's just like you imagine, man. I mean,
A little bit of gap in food. Brand new Frankfurt. Then got this fresh engine.
oh, heck, who's at the gym?
What's the neighbors? So is this your new Mitsu chair on wheels?
You like that? New from a 91 Laser.
All kinds of 1 2 pieces.
Those are my first car.
They just start making garage.
Yeah. Those are my very first car. Now there's 3 people watching. Don't know who they is.
They don't give you like documentaries to see.
You can see who some of them. You can like.
I can know off of a comment you can see, but
Right. So you can go. Maybe I can like. I thought you could see.
guess nerd.
Guess nerd. They set the depth on this. Okay.
Oh, you're asking me if I want to. Sure. You explode your also have the depth on it.
Okay. Top's good. Second's good.
Man, what the heck is that?
That neon sitting out there.
What is that?
428. What's it for?
Yeah.
Just to rebuild and sell.
Oh. Flipper car.
Flipper car. So this one's 10,000 minimum. And like I can already tell you that's more than 10,000. It's like 23. It's good.
You said it was like max was like 40.
Yeah. I mean, I can't grow them. Oil rails. Right here. Gap should be a minimum of 10.
I think they give you max still.
They're just oil rails. They're not sealing compression in, so it doesn't matter. It's just dragging oil back to the pan. Okay. So cylinder number. It doesn't matter which cylinder you use to push it down in. So we're going to follow oil rail bottom gap.
There's Jason McKees.
Family.
Families.
Visiting with the family. What? Oh, that door is awful, dude. That's the side of the car that's been wrecked.
Right, I know. I saw him glare. I was like, what the heck, man, with that brush?
Probably. All right, oil rail, bottom gap. Chonder. Oil ring expandinator gap. Expandinator gap.
Garage Confucius.
Goes down Chonder. We get it wrapped around here, right? Oh, I forgot. The oil expander goes in before yon oil rails because the oil rails sit on top of it. Forgot. It's been a minute. Ah, there we go.
Do the rings have a top and bottom lock? Haven't checked mine.
They don't. They just have a part number on one side, which I did the part number up, but and the oil expanders don't. I don't think they care. I'm not even using the pliers for these. They're so little and dinky. Let's get right on. You see how this overlaps? The oil expander wants to overlap itself. So we just gotta make sure it's all in there the right damn way. Here we go. Yeah, so Wise Craven gives you a drawing. They're not supposed to overlap. They're supposed to butt the tips. So here you can see here's no, but it should be butted. There you go.
Okay.
Yep. Tips are butted. Oil rail top goes over here.
Here's no tile sport stuff, ain't you?
I mean, I only have one wastegate. Oh, but in my blow-off valve, it's just I don't even know what my blow-off valve is. I think it's probably no-name knockoff something. It ain't good. I need to get a good tile blower offer. See you Monday.
I heard the port online, so I just switched to a tile.
Yeah.
So what I gotta do is I gotta cut this jank ass flange off of this intercooler pipe. Put the
Jank ass flange, you said.
on it. Wow, how's that even like feasible?
By jank, you mean literal whack? It's whack. All right. Rings is on. Rough, yo. One Sealander. More plastic for the trash can. Okay. So much shit. Dab of assembly lube. Dab of assembly lube. Smoosh it in with my fingers.
So I forgot the other flange called, but it threads onto here with a fucking plumbing over it. And that's what's in it.
Yeah. I mean, it looks goofy. Like I've not seen anything like that, but it seems all right.
So they have 30 PSI.
Right? Shit tiny.
Yeah, Stanley. So this was what was on my car. The BOV flange threads on here, and it's sealed with like a plumbing O-ring. I thought it was kind of whack, like Sean said earlier. But I mean, it held 30 PSI, so we're going to switch to a tile setup today, if I can go. We'll see.
File.
No, this is a real tile. I spent the coins on it.
Spent the coins on it.
It comes with its nice little diagram and what goes where and all that.
I'm jelly. Yeah. Bing!
New tiles.
That's fine.
Can't push the actual. I don't think there's a spring in there. But yeah, I gotta take it apart. I'm taking it apart.
Just got to
I don't remember how I did this last time. No. It's been fucking a decade. It's been a decade. Just gonna stand here and struggle with this until I figure it out. If I remember correctly, there's a trick to it though. Like it's not that hard. Like,
trying to sit here and watch what you're doing, dropping laptops. I'm sorry.
you're all right. Get the line back up. You're all right. Hey man, you caught it. That's race spec blow off valve Technic.
Yes. We'll see. Maybe.
Just going everywhere. Shouldn't have came over. Doesn't look. Brains going everywhere. Laptops falling off fucking end blocks.
I'm gonna fucking Google it.
Is it just a keeper ring?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's being done.
Yeah, there's a trick. There's a trick to it. I just don't remember what the trick is. All right, clip installation.
Okay, we're going to start by installing our first circlet. This one can be done on the workbench. It doesn't need to be done on the edge. I always try to install my distance circlets so the gap is pointing towards the top or the bottom. We can do the top today. Normally I can do it mostly with my fingers. I'll start with one tip. I try and place it in the groove. And I'll squeeze it with my thumbs as far down as I can. And sometimes this one here is almost all the way in. I can just tap it. And now it's in.
Okay, bud. What are you putting together? What kind of pistons are you assembling that you can just do with your finger? These are thick as shit.
Right.
Snap rings are spiral. It's round. It can't grab it. They're neither snap rings. They're just a freaking circular spring clip.
Okay, bud.
Like seriously, like I could just push in with my fingers. Like what the fuck piston are you assembling? Like a Power Sports? Like probably is, given that it's Wiseco. Dude, I don't fucking.
That was great. Okay, bud. What pistons are you?
Right. I can just push them with my fingers. The fuck you can. Not these. Not unless you're fucking Superman. All right, let's see a video about car stuff.
Wait, are we making a video about car stuff?
No, people are streaming us, just watching us be dumb.
Oh.
Oh, we could just be just like me. So we can go back after you do this and we can do a comment in the comments.
Experienced engine builders have developed their own styles of installing each type of pin retention design.
So in other words, Google said, figure it out.
What horse shit.
Can I please have the way that doesn't fuck my pistons up? Thanks.
Oh, God. What horse shit. Even the internet just said,
Thank God they're not the spiral locks. They require a special fucking tool. All right, maybe not. Snap rings or spiral.
Oh, look at this.
Yeah.
Size blue, FMJ.
FMJ.
FMJ. FMJ got robbed. Somebody else's car.
what? FMJ. Be a fucking nerd. I'm like being a nerd.
I'm about to just go get fucking circlips and use circlip pliers.
So it hop the old rod in the seals.
I need to go get lunch at some point. I'm fucking.
What were you food doing?
What's Tasha doing today?
Woman stuff. Cleaning the house, doing laundry.
Damn. You straight said that. I'm fucking stream, bro. Woman's.
Woman stuff.
Now, she wanted to do a few things around the house. So she's cleaning and killing bad guys and doing
Killing bad guys.
Yeah, she's playing Xbox. Killing bad guys.
What's she playing? Dude, I don't know what the fuck to do, dude. I don't want to fuck up my pistons. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to scratch them the fuck up.
Right.
That's what's. Get cricket. It's like the thickest of piano wire.
Right, but I mean, like, it doesn't even have anywhere to compress it.
Just push it in with your fingers.
Whoa.
I could just push them in with my fingers. Oh, evidently you're fucking Superman. Well, you saw it had no skirt. It had like almost no skirt. So, you know, it's a power sports application, so it's probably like fucking 125cc dirt bike fucking piston. Yeah, like, if I put an edge in, dude, like, I don't know what to fucking do here. Oh, hold on.
I can consult the inner rims, like.
Oh, hold on. I think I see what's up. Okay, so I got that edge started.
Oh, this is from Wesco. Proper circlip installation. Probably made in the USA.
Dude, I don't fucking know what to do here. I've done this in the past too with fucking Wiseco pistons. Like, I don't know. I'm gonna go eat.
Yeah, he was on a fucking dirt bike.
Yeah, did you see the same one? We just push it in with your thumb. Okay, bud. How's about you show me how to do it with a tool on an actual car piston instead of your fucking dirt bike? Like, I don't know. I gotta go eat because I'm getting cranky. So I'll be back later. Deuces.
Oh.